Warren. And they're mini,
No?
mini parcels that don't have a tax. I sent you an email last year. Yeah, we'll talk.
Okay.
Something about a 1930s or 40s camp thing that's never been built, but people own all these tiny little parcels.
Oh,
And the overdue taxes will never meet, so they can't be sold and they can't be used. And there's,
wow. Okay.
okay, and all I can say, would you contact me?
Yeah, those-
Look, it Warren and figure out what's going on.
So it's delinquent tax.
It's delinquent taxes and it's the size of the parcels, and I'm not sure what to do, but if you can help us figure that out. I've asked for their suggestions. They don't have any either. But I know we're not gonna lower that back down to where you could foreclose for a $200 old tax bill.
Yeah, there were some changes to that recently.
Last year, yeah, because of the fear that people could be made homeless for a minimal, any amount actually of overdue taxes could send you to tax sale. So, yeah, they've got some, Chris Roof seemed to know about it, but
Yeah, I'm not as well versed in delinquent taxes, but I can see.
yeah, but just you can help me think through what to do about it. I would much appreciate it because they are on top of it.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going back to wetlands. And on both of these bills, I think we're just trying to figure out what's possible, what's good policy. I assume we already count wetlands in when a parcel is appraised, but
Oh, gosh.
yeah.
All right, so we'll start with S-165. So my name is Jill Remick. I'm the Director of Property Evaluation and Review at the Tax Department. I haven't actually been in here this winter yet.
Yeah,
this is-
this will, don't worry, we still.
And I
have a
brought you
long
presents.
session to
I
go.
brought some hard copy annual reports that I hadn't brought over to y'all yet. Not too late, you're still interested. So S-165 is proposing to require an assessing official to take into account wetland identification for evaluation. The language that's proposed is almost word for word what actually is already in statute. So the statute requires that fair market value that the listers and assessors are establishing include the effect of any state or local law or regulation affecting the use of the land, including Title 10, and so on and so forth. So this is sort of why you have listers and assessors actually set the value, because they do have the capacity to like research things like zoning or conservation easement or wetland identification. So definitely. So the only caveat, right, and this would be true regardless, is like if you have 100 acres and you have like a fifth of an acre that's a wetland, that may not change your property value very much. But that is something listers take into account and do this work already. So I don't think that this language is necessary. We also cover it in our lister handbook, and we do our annual training for listers. And this is one of the many things that have to be taken into account. Highest and best use.
Highest and best use of a wetlands is
Can't go.
okay.
And also if the concern was about a landowner not, disagreeing with the value or something like that, then landowners have the ability to appeal. That's kind of the main way that property valuation works, is there's a first step of an appeal at the lister or assessor level. You can then appeal to the Board of Civil Authority and then on to the Property Valuation Review Department, hearing officers, or Superior Court. So there are avenues by which, if landowners not satisfied with how the property is valued or don't think it was done correctly, that they should grieve that, and that exists.
Unless this committee wants to continue to take this up, I'll let the proposer. Bill,
I mean, it's good news, right? It's already covered.
it's already done.
And then S-314 is directing the current use advisory board to recommend that land that's posted pay an annual surcharge. So the current use advisory board has, the responsibility of setting the current use values each year, and they certainly do make legislative recommendations, but this felt sort of like a strange roundabout way of to request something.
Yeah, I guess the issue is we have senator who had a constituent who has a neighbor who posted all their land and current use value and felt that if in fact all of us are sharing and paying the additional taxes on that property, that it shouldn't, there should be some limit to removing it from public use. I guess the first question that came to my mind is it just your constituent's neighbor, or is a lot of that land posted, which would make a difference if it's worth passing a law? I heard in the hallway that a lot of it was posted, but that the town clerks are the only ones who know what's posted. You know what's in land use, they know what's posted. And we've got a couple things here, like a second home tax that is going to stress out our local listers and clerks somewhat. And I'm a little leery of overstressing them and wondering how big a deal would it be to find out how much of this land is posted. Just
Yeah, right now, the current use program has we don't have anything to do with posting. We don't want to know. We don't have any way to track it. This comes up a lot. I feel like every year there's sort of this conversation with that.
I've never seen a bill.
Yeah, and it didn't look like this. So there's a few things, right? So first of all, we do not want the administrative responsibility of tracking posting land necessarily. But the way that this is sort of constructed is sort of how would you bill this surcharge? Who would collect it? When would they collect it?
That has come
What
up.
about parcels that are enrolled? So that's where we sort of looked at it was from the administrative perspective, but then there's a policy about enrolled parcels and posting land that, while we don't have a position, certainly over the years, we've heard a lot of what seem like pretty reasonable explanations, like perhaps you have a deaf child, perhaps you run the child care center, perhaps you have valuable livestock, right? That's a very separate policy.
We posted our land.
Yeah.
I don't have 30 acres, but if I did, because of the canopy, you're not supposed to shoot in the city of Montpelier, but the bridge runs into Berlin. Farm on the other side of the ridge is in Berlin, and hunters sometimes move the town line as they park up there in the woods, and they come in. They can't see that there are residential homes and children and dogs that could look like deer hanging out in the backyard, and bullets have gone through the backyards. The police have come up more than once, and I don't want to prohibit someone from protecting. And there's a certain logic to, if you own 500 acres, why would you post it other than if you just, it's yours, then you can. But it's yours.
Right, and so the other component is, there's sort of that like intent versus impact. So this is, the way it's written right now is that it's actually an enrollment requirement. So now we're talking about how would we enforce this? How would we track this? It adds a layer of complexity and tracking and collections that we do not currently have. And I think, if it was put on the clerk, which it's true that right now I think posting has to be recorded annually at the town level, and the surcharge is collected at that point, then
The
you've got
clerk
the
has
clerk
to
having
collect the
to.
money, keep it, send it in to somebody. And every year notify you if there's been any change in posting rate. Which, what if you forget on January 1st to post your land? Can you not remember to post that you're posting it and post it February 1st?
We also already have this annual agriculture certification, which is like 8,000 parcels every year that we're sending out, requiring folks to certify, sending back. I mean, all of these things sort of add room for error on the landowner part and add a lot of burden that take away from our ability to administer the program.
You do that, okay. And as we heard this morning with the early child teacher, that's starting to require a lot of money
Yeah.
to administer, which is not making the people across the hall happy. Because there is an extra money. So. Okay, yeah, I can see that this. All right. Committee. Questions, thoughts? None?
So my thought is that there are multiple bills in other committees that have jurisdiction over land posting that are taking those issues up. I think a House committee is
I
actually
tried to get this
moving
one.
forward with a bill, and then the Senate committee, which Scott and I serve on, have a bill that Senator Matos, and then also
I have
you have a
posting.
bill.
I have
So
posting.
I just think that we don't want to talk about posting in this committee until committees of jurisdiction send us something. And this seems to not logistically make sense considering all the other things that are in play.
Okay. We are rapidly running through our list of bills up there, and deciding to take no action. Which is fine, because I did talk to a House member who does want to look at the tax brackets. And I want to look at the tax brackets, mostly where our top bracket starts, which is quite low, and we have one low income as definition of wealthy goes, and may well be discouraging us from being able to attract or hold the kinds of professionals like doctors, psychiatrists, APRN, all business leaders that we want to. So I think maybe we could spend some time on that instead of posting. I did try and pass this off.
We try to send it.
I tried to send it to the logs. They didn't want it. Oh, because I was the first told that's where it was. Oh, but I'll ask them to watch this if she would like it. And Jill, if you can talk to Warren and see if you can.
So the town clerk in Warren?
Yeah, yeah, and there's a gentleman from the plan, maybe the town planner. And his first name is Jim, and I'm not remembering the last name, but they do seem to have a special kind of situation over there with little lots. Should we go off live? If we could go off live, we